All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to do the sketch for the hovercraft part 1. All right, red text means stop and take notes. Green text means go. You're going to take notes, and they're going to be due on Friday, so make sure you get those notes done. We're going to turn those in separately on Friday. Here's what you should have done already. Okay, so make sure you've already drawn your idea on paper. Make sure you use measurements, especially where two parts meet. For example, where the Gatorade lid meets the hole, those two parts should have the same size, so make sure that you use measurements. Draw parts you're going to use. So like if you're going to use outside parts, draw those in. So for example, if you are going to use a Gatorade cap, draw that in. And get your sketch signed off. Make sure you know what the material is made out of. What is your base going to be made of? What are the nozzles going to be made of? Make sure you do that. Okay, why is this measurement important right here? So if you're building a rocket, why would this measurement right here be important? Well, the answer is this measurement is important because it has to fit into something else. It has to fit into a body tube. So in the same way when you're doing your hovercraft, make sure anytime parts need to fit together that you have a measurement so that you make them the correct size. Okay, label the material you're going to use, or if you're going to use balsa, label it, and then have one of the Mr. Westmiller check it off. Okay. All right. At this point, too, you should have already done a hypothesis on your lab. So open up the lab, write in the hypothesis, and answer the question: why is your hovercraft going to go the longest displacement and have the fastest velocity? Okay. So before you start drawing, you should have some ideas. All right. Here we're going to work on some stuff. All right, so what materials can you use? Anything that's probably lightweight. It has to be less than a quarter inch or less thick, or else the laser won't cut through it. You must know what it is so we can do the settings. So if it's a weird plastic, I want to make sure it'll actually cut through it. The main thing, it needs to be light. Okay, probably for your body, you're going to use some sort of foam or balsa wood. All right, so you got to get your material and bring it in. I'm going to give you every team one sheet of balsa wood. You can use balsa wood 24 by 12 inches, 24 inches by 12 inches. So on and so forth. All right. So here's where we go. Let's get started. So when you need to always work off of my template, so everybody needs to do this. Each person in the team has to do this. So you're going to go to Applied Physics. You're going to go to Templates. You're going to click right here. So go ahead and hit pause on this thing. If I'm going too fast, hit pause and try to get caught up or ask some questions. So you're going to get here, and then once the templates open up, you're going to be able to download that. Okay, so here it is. So you click on the template, and then you're going to download it. Okay, and when it's downloading, once it downloads, you double click on it to open it up. Okay, and so once it's opened up, it's going to look like this. And the very first thing you need to do is you need to save it. So you're going to go File, Save As. You're going to save it in your folder with your name on it. Okay, so go to your folder with your name on it. You're going to go to your Ape folder, and you're going to make a folder called Advanced Hovercraft. And you're going to save it as Hovercraft Body version 1, because every now and then you're going to make a version 2 and make a backup and hit save. Okay, so save this. Now let's go back to my spiel because I have some stuff over here. Okay, so look at the templates on the whiteboard. I'll do this with you, so don't worry about this. Okay, so here's what we do need to look at. Okay, so if you look at this. Okay, see that right there? That's red. So if you look over here at the colors, okay, so the stroke is red, so you have to be in RGB mode. Okay, so switch it to RGB mode, and it's all red, no green, no blue. And if you look up here at the stroke, that's 0.001. Okay, that will cut. Okay, if you look at this right here, that's also 0.001, and that is all blue over here. If you look over here, it's all blue, no green and no red. Okay, so that's going to be an etch. Now if you look at these things right here, this is going to be no burn, a little bit of burn, more burn. So the blacker it is, the more burn. So any color from white to black is going to be a different version of how deep it's going to burn in your material. Okay, all right, so with that in mind, what you need to know is we got these things over here that are called layers. Let's jump ahead. Let's jump ahead. A layer is like a clear piece of plastic. Okay, so this artwork right here is on like a clear sheet of plastic. And so if we go to layer, I'm going to change the view of this. I'm going to go Window, I'm going to go to Workspace, and I'm going to go Painting. See if I can make this better. There we go. So there's my layers. So what I can do is I can turn this layer off, right? So we don't need that anymore. So I'm going to make a new layer, and you should do this as well. Turn that off, make a new layer, and we're going to, everybody do this to get started. We're going to draw a star, okay? So we draw a star, and what you're going to do is you're going to set it up to where this is a cut. So you're going to click on this, you're going to change the stroke right here to 0.001. You're going to come over here to the color. We're going to click, 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 double click. There we go. So we're going to go to this, and we're going to change it to all red. No green, no blue. That's going to be a cut. And then we're going to draw a circle for this. We're going to pretend like this is the body of our hovercraft. We're going to go here. We're going to draw a circle, and we're going to hit Shift, and we're going to go to the center. We're going to hit Shift and Alt to draw a perfect circle from the center out. That's going to be where our nozzle is. That's where we're going to blow the air out of. Okay, and so now that's also going to be cut. Now we're going to also need a logo on here. So here's what we do to get a logo on here. So everybody should be doing this. This is you're going to show Mr. Westfall and I that you know how to do a cut, and also by the way, we're going to do an etch. So I'm going to use the type tool. I'm going to click right here. I'm going to type in my name, Wes Miller. Okay, so we're going to select this, and we're going to make that all blue. Okay, no green, no red. We're going to make that also 0.001. So you have your cuts, you have your etches, and then we're also going to do a burn. So let's go over here. So we're going to have, so I'm going to go here. Here's my artwork, right? We got to get the artwork in. So I'm going to click on the selection tool. I'm going to select everything. Okay, select all that. I'm going to press Control and C to copy. So there's my logo. I'm going to go back over to my hovercraft body. Okay, here's my hovercraft I'm working on, and I'm going to press Control V, and it's going to be really big. So I'm going to hit Shift, and I'm going to click on this, and the Shift constrains the proportion. So I'm going to make it the right size. Okay, and I'm going to drag it where I want it. Okay, so there's my logo, and so I'm going to zoom in on the logo and make sure. I'm going to see if, oh, you know what, I messed up. See how some part got messed up? That's because what I should have done. Let me go to Control Z. Control Z. Okay, let's make it bigger. I'm going to double click on the hand. Okay, what I should have done is I should have gone Object, Transform, Scale, because what I need to do is I need to scale the strokes so it's not so big. So I'm going to make it like 15%. Okay. That's another way to do it. Okay, so then when I look at it, it's going to look nicer. So I'm going to select this thing. Oh, you know what I forgot to tell you? I'm going to go Control X. This should have been on a separate layer. So I'm going to make a new layer. Okay, and I'm going to place it on this layer. Edit, paste in place, and then I'm going to move it. And the reason we do this is because sometimes I'm going to want to turn this on and off, right? And sometimes I'm going to want to be able to turn this on and off. So we'll place that on a new layer. Okay, make sure you do that. Okay, so there's my artwork. And so here's what I have. I've got a cut, an etch, and then this is going to be a burn right there. Okay, go ahead and save that. And you're going to show that to Mr. Westfall and I. Okay, but we're not quite done. There's a couple more things we have to do. I've got to teach you a couple more things real quick. All right, let's backtrack here. We got to take some notes. Okay, what can you do with the direct selection tool? Well, here's what you can do with the direct selection tool. The direct selection tool, I can click off, and I can grab individual points, and I can adjust them. So you can adjust individual points. Okay. The other thing you can do is if it's a curve. So if I have a curve here, you can go to the direct selection tool, and I can click on the anchors, and I can adjust the handles of the curve. Okay. So you can adjust anchors and curves. What can you do with the convert anchor point tool? With the convert anchor point tool, what I can do is I go to my pen tool, I go to the convert anchor point tool, and if I click on, I've got to find an anchor here. Let me zoom in. Okay, so I go to my convert anchor point tool. I've got to find an anchor. Where'd it go? Let me click on it. So if I click here, I find my anchor point. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Okay, so I could go to my convert anchor point tool. I click on that, and I can change it to a point. Okay, so I click on a handle, and I can drag that to a point. And so now it's not a smooth curve, it's a point. Let's keep going. What can you do with the add anchor point tool? All right, so let's say I have a curve that's not accurate. I can go to my add anchor point tool. I can click, I can add an anchor point, and then I can go to my direct selection point tool, and I can grab that anchor and move it around. So I can make things more accurate that way. Okay, let's keep going. So write this down. A layer is like a clear piece of plastic that you can draw on. It's good to keep artwork separate, so you can reorder it, place things on top of the other, or turn things on and off. Okay, make sure you write that down. Use separate layers for each shape. Give each layer a good name. Okay, that's an important thing. Let me show you that. So last thing that you're going to do is when you're doing stuff, so layer 5 has the logo on it, so I'm going to give it a name logo, click OK, and then this one has my body on it, so I'm going to name that. Alright, click OK. So that's enough out of me. You guys go ahead and do this. Ready, set, go.